The biggest threat to your fortune isn't bad luck. It's the beam hanging above your bed, crushing your energy night after night without making a sound. I know that's a bold thing to say, but after 4 decades of stepping into bedrooms across America, from New York high-rises to quiet homes in the Midwest, I've learned one strange truth. Some people lose their wealth, peace, and clarity not because of their choices, but because of the place they sleep. I've walked into rooms that look like magazine covers, smooth linens, warm lamps, perfect color palettes. Yet the moment my eyes lifted, everything changed. A heavy beam, dark, dense, cutting across the ceiling like a silent blade. Outward beauty, inward tension, a room designed for rest, yet filled with an invisible weight that pushes down on the person sleeping under it. And the stories are always the same. People tell me they wake up tired no matter how long they sleep. They feel pressure in their chest, headaches that come and go, emotions they can't quite steady. Work becomes harder. Money slips through their fingers. Arguments appear out of nowhere. They say things like, "I'm trying my best. Why does everything feel heavier than it should?" Most of the time, the answer is resting right above them. Before we go deeper, take a breath with me, slow and steady, and let one quiet thought settle in your mind. Light rises within me. I deserve restful energy and a life that moves upward. If you've ever felt stuck, like the world keeps moving but your life doesn't, this video may reveal the reason you never suspected, and I'd really love to hear from you. Have you ever slept under a beam or felt pressure in a bedroom without knowing why? Your experience might help someone who's been confused about their own fatigue or misfortune. If anything I've said resonates with you, just tap like so this message can reach others who may need it. I promise, what you're about to learn will show you how one simple shift in your sleeping space can lift that invisible weight and allow your energy, your luck, and your peace to rise again. When I talk about beams, people often think I'm being symbolic, but there is nothing symbolic about the pressure they create. A beam is heavy in the physical world, yes, but it is even heavier in the energetic world, where the body and mind are at their most vulnerable. To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand what happens to you during sleep. When you fall asleep, your mind loosens its grip on the world. Your breathing slows. Your awareness opens. Your guard drops. This is when your body restores itself. Your organs reset. Your nervous system unwinds. Your energy field softens so it can pull in new strength for the next day. It's the only time you aren't fighting, working, thinking, or pushing through life. And that is exactly why sleeping under a beam is so damaging. A beam carries what we call downward chi, a sinking force. It doesn't matter if it's wood or metal, decorative or structural. Your body feels the weight even if your eyes don't see it. Imagine trying to grow a plant while placing a brick directly above it. The plant might survive, but it won't grow tall. Its leaves will curl downward, its roots will weaken. The human spirit responds the same way. I've stood beside countless beds where the beam ran right above the pillow, and without fail, the person sleeping there told me something in a lowered voice. I feel like something is holding me down. In Feng Shui, we don't dismiss that feeling, we listen to it. We respect it. The body senses what the mind refuses to acknowledge. I once visited a couple who had been arguing for months. They couldn't understand why small disagreements turned into storms. Their finances were tight, their patience thinner, their home felt tense. When I stepped into their bedroom, the answer was immediate. A thick beam cut straight across the bed, right between where the two of them slept. A physical divider, an energetic divider, and eventually an emotional divider. You don't have to believe in Feng Shui to understand the power of environment. Even Western psychology agrees. A space that feels oppressive creates anxiety. A space that feels divided creates distance. A space that feels heavy creates fatigue. The couple didn't need therapy. They needed to move their bed. Sometimes the simplest changes bring the deepest peace. And this is where I ask you to pause for a moment. Place your hand over your heart, not to perform a ritual, but to feel your own presence. And let this thought rise quietly inside. I am allowed to rest without pressure. My life moves upward, not downward. Because that is the opposite of what a beam teaches your body each night. A beam trains your energy to collapse instead of expand. It teaches you to brace instead of breathe, to endure instead of rise. Now you may wonder, why does this affect wealth? Why would a ceiling beam impact money? Because your fortune is built on your energy, not the energy you show others during the day, but the energy you recover while you sleep. If your mind wakes already tired, your decisions weaken. If your spirit wakes already pressured, opportunities slip away. If your body wakes already drained, luck avoids you because luck requires movement. Upward, outward, open. Heavy key steals that movement before your day even begins. And most people never realize it. They look at the symptoms: stress, fatigue, arguments, financial plateaus, but never at the source hovering right above their bed. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how heavy beam qi shapes your health, emotions, and fortune in ways you may never have connected before, and how one adjustment can lift years of hidden weight from your life. When I first began studying traditional Feng Shui in my early 20s, I didn't realize how something as ordinary as a ceiling beam could quietly rewrite the direction of a person's life. But after decades of walking through homes across the country, listening to stories, watching the same patterns repeat themselves in different cities, different families, different ages, I can tell you this with certainty. The heaviness you sleep under does not stay on the ceiling. It seeps into every layer of your life. People think a beam only affects sleep, but its influence runs much deeper. It touches your health first, because the body is the most honest part of you. When someone asks me, why am I exhausted even when I do everything right? I sleep early, I eat well, I take care of myself. I know what I'm going to find the moment I step into their bedroom. When a beam sits above your head or chest, your nervous system never truly relaxes. It stays slightly alert, as if waiting for something to fall. Your breathing doesn't deepen, your muscles don't settle, your dreams stay shallow, and instead of waking refreshed, you rise with the weight of a night spent fighting what should have healed you. I once worked with a retired firefighter who told me his body felt like it was still on duty. Even though he'd been out of the service for years, his beam was thick, dark, sitting right above his rib cage like a quiet threat. After we repositioned his bed, he came back to me weeks later and said, I didn't know my body had forgotten how to breathe until it finally could. That is what heavy energy does, steals the breath you don't even know you're missing. But the body isn't the only place this pressure settles. It makes its way into emotions, and this is the part most people never connect. They think their irritability, sadness, or tension is coming from work, age, or life stress. They don't realize that every night, a quiet weight is pressing down on their spirit. I've seen couples who once laughed easily together begin to drift apart with no clear reason. By the time I step into their bedroom, the reason is usually right above them, a beam dividing the bed into two silent halves, a physical line that becomes an emotional one. And the moment that beam's pressure is removed, the room softens, and the relationship often does too. Sometimes the heart doesn't need advice, it just needs space that doesn't push down on it. If you felt emotionally heavier lately without being able to explain why, place a hand gently on your chest for a moment and let a quiet thought rise inside you. I let go of the weight I did not choose to carry. You don't have to say it out loud, just feel it. Your body knows what to do with the feeling. And then there's the impact people rarely expect. the way heavy ki blocks fortune. People think luck is random or financial success is only about effort, but effort comes from energy. Clear decisions come from a rested mind. Confidence comes from a heart that feels steady. And all three begin in the place you sleep. If you wake tired, your choices weaken. If you wake pressured, you hesitate. If you wake emotionally heavy, you start avoiding the opportunities that require courage. I once worked with a business owner in Texas who told me she felt like she was always one step behind everyone else. Her beam was directly above her face, aimed right where her thoughts formed. She said it felt like life kept starting and stopping, as if she couldn't build momentum no matter how hard she tried. Once we repositioned her bed and softened the beam's influence, her energy shifted. Decisions became easier. Confidence returned. Her business grew within months, not because a ritual created success, but because the weight that kept interrupting her internal rhythm was finally lifted. Some people don't lose money because they're careless. They lose it because their energy is too pressed down to move toward opportunity. Even Western psychology supports this. A heavy object above you, even if you consciously ignore it, increases subconscious stress. Dividing lines in a room create emotional distance. Low or oppressive structures activate a part of the brain that stays alert for danger. Feng Shui simply described the effects centuries before the science existed to explain them. Your body whispers the truth long before your mind is willing to hear it. And when that whisper says, "Something is pressing on me," your entire life begins to reflect that downward pressure. Your thoughts, your relationships, your finances, even your motivation. This is why I often tell the people I work with, your bedroom is not just where you sleep, it's where your future is being shaped quietly in the dark. If the space above you feels open and light, your spirit rises differently each morning. You move with clarity. You think with confidence. You act with a sense of upward motion. And before we move to the solutions, I want you to pause one last time and let a simple truth settle softly inside you, without force, without effort. My life rises when the weight above me lifts. That thought alone begins to loosen heavy ki. In the next section, I'll show you exactly how to remove, soften, or neutralize the pressure of a beam, and how one small shift can gently transform the direction of your days. Now that you understand how a beam quietly reshapes your health, emotions, and fortune, we can finally talk about what most people truly want to know. What can you do to lift this weight? The good news is that the remedy is never as overwhelming as the problem feels. In fact, most of the time, the solution begins with a simple shift in how you treat the space above where you sleep. When I walk into a bedroom with a beam overhead, I don't think about tearing down walls or reconstructing ceilings. I think about redirecting the story the room is telling a bedroom should tell your body. You are safe now. You are supported. You can rise. A beam tells the opposite story. It whispers, "Stay low, brace yourself. Don't lift too high." And your spirit listens to whichever message is clearer. The first and most gentle change is to move the bed. Many people resist this idea because they've spent years arranging their room a certain way. But I've watched lives transform from something as simple as shifting a bed 2 feet to the left. When the body no longer sleeps under direct pressure, the mind finds room to breathe. Even before the physical change happens, the idea of change itself begins lifting something internally. But sometimes a room doesn't offer flexibility. The bed can only go one place. The walls are fixed, the windows don't allow another direction, and the beam sits exactly where it sits. In those homes, I don't tell people to give up hope. I tell them to soften the story. A beam is only dangerous when it feels heavy, sharp, or dominant. When you gently hide its presence or blur its edges, the mind no longer interprets it as a threat. Many people install a simple, false panel or fabric canopy. something light and neutral that catches the eye before the beam does. Others use warm lighting to raise the energy around the ceiling, turning the downward pull into something softer and less aggressive. A room that once felt like it was pushing down becomes a room that simply rests around you. I've seen people hang a lightweight cloth with soft folds, almost like a sky made of fabric. They tell me that the first night they sleep under it, something in their chest loosens. They breathe deeper, not because the cloth holds power, but because the mind finally believes that the space above is no longer pressing down. Before we move to the final part, take a slow breath and let a quiet thought settle in your heart. I deserve a space that lifts me, not one that weighs me down. You don't need to say it aloud. Just let the feeling land gently inside you. In the next section, I'll guide you through a real story. Someone whose life was shaped, strained, and eventually transformed by the simple act of freeing themselves from the weight above their bed. It may sound small, but sometimes the smallest change opens the door to the biggest shift. I want to finish this teaching by sharing a story that has stayed with me for many years, a reminder of how deeply the space above a person can shape the space within them. It was a visit to a young woman in her mid-30s, someone bright, capable, and full of potential, yet living with a heaviness she couldn't explain. She told me, "Master Yip, it feels like life keeps pressing down on me. Like no matter what I do, something won't let me rise." Her voice trembled, but not out of fear, out of exhaustion. When I stepped into her bedroom, I saw the answer within seconds. A long, heavy beam stretched across the ceiling, cutting directly above where she slept. The room was beautiful, but the air felt tight, like it had forgotten how to expand. I could almost feel the weight she had carried each night without knowing its source. We didn't rebuild the house. We didn't tear anything down. We simply shifted her bed a few feet, softened the harsh edges of the beam with a light fabric panel, and added a warm amber lamp that lifted the energy upward. Nothing dramatic, nothing complicated, just a gentle rearrangement of the room's story. Weeks later, she called me. Her voice was different, lighter, fuller, like she was finally breathing from a deeper place. She said her mornings felt clearer, her mind steadier, her opportunities easier to embrace. "It's strange," she told me. "I didn't change my job. I didn't change my habits. I only changed where I slept, and suddenly life feels possible again." That is the quiet power of removing the weight above you. Sometimes the world doesn't need to change. Sometimes you don't need to change. Sometimes all that's required is lifting the invisible pressure that has been shaping your days long before you ever noticed it. Before we close today, place a hand gently near your heart and let this simple sentence settle inside you. It's easy to remember and even easier to carry into your nights. I sleep without weight, I rise with light. If those words bring you even a small sense of peace, hold them close tonight. Let them guide your breath. Let them loosen whatever tension you've carried for years. And if this teaching has helped you see your space and perhaps your life in a new way, I invite you to gently like this video so it can reach someone who might need it right now. You're welcome to share your experience or your thoughts below. Sometimes a single comment becomes a reminder another person has been waiting for. And if you'd like to continue learning how to create a home that lifts your energy instead of draining it, feel free to subscribe. Our small community grows each time someone like you joins, someone who simply wants a life that feels lighter, calmer, and more supported. For now, rest well. May your nights rise gently, and may your mornings open with clarity and blessing.